Hey, oh, hey. What's up, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Headquarters, and America's team, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. Now, we all know usually on Wednesday night we're doing it live, but first of all, the Cowboy Huddle podcast would like to say Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and we're wishing the best, and we're wishing nothing but peace and happiness on this family day that everyone is celebrating on Christmas. So give it up. Again, like I said, I usually do a live on What's Up Wednesday, but I'm sure everybody's with their families tonight. So I thought I'd do something a little different tonight, and I'll just bring you a recording tonight. Yeah, so a video. So I've already made all my rounds. I've already dropped off presents, visit with the kids, the grandkids, and all the friends and family and everything. So now I'm back home. So I just didn't want to uh, put this on everybody else, who's probably still um, spending time with their family. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on because I really want to get into something that has really brought up this conversation tonight, as far as me, myself, and I. No, really. You know, um, I titled this video as "Building a Championship Team." I think we're losing the focus of what we're doing here. We have too many doubts. We have too many fears. We're having too many setbacks. And I think we have forgotten what a championship team looks like. I was doing some research. I was doing some studying. I was trying to write down notes, which I did write down. So now I'm watching some video, and I was going back to some things, and I'm going back to the times when we were actually relevant. And I'm sure we all know people probably say, "Well, we were relevant when we were 14, when three with Dak." No, that's not relevant. That's mediocre at best. 12-5 is mediocre at best. Okay. But we're saying, oh, 12-5 is great. No, again, I'm talking about building a championship team, which we once had once before. Yeah, I was going to get into all this, all the details and things like that. I said, no, you know what? I'm just going to get on here and we're going to do some barbershop talk tonight, and we're going to talk about this Dallas Cowboy team because it's evident, man, we have no sense of direction. We do not know if we're coming and going. Oh, well, what are you talking about, G? We just won the last 4 or 5. We beat probably two, maybe two 500 teams, Tampa Bay and Washington. Well, again, Washington is a team that we own. Yeah, Washington is a team that own. And Tampa Bay, if you want to call them a 500 team, guess what? They would have beat us. And the rest we lost. Okay, okay. So, let's see. Well, let's see. We beat New York. Who else we beat? We beat Carolina. Okay. We beat Washington and we beat Tampa Bay. But the two we lost to was Cincinnati, and we lost to the Eagles. We also again. So I can go back to the 500 team because I keep pushing and pressing the 500 teams. And people probably say, well, what do you mean by 500 teams? The tough teams, okay? The teams that got winning records. These are the 500 teams, okay? So when I say that, this is where the delusional part of us come in because we're hearing Jerry Jones saying, I'm proud of Coach McCarthy, of what he has done. Proud of what? What are we proud of? Because we beat a bunch of under 500 teams? Is that what we're proud of? And now we're talking about running it back with Mike McCarthy? Shannon Sharp said it best. He said he was asked the question, should they bring Mike McCarthy back? And he said, "Well, yeah, if you want to win the division and be one and done in the postseason, yeah, bring them back." And I totally agree. And people are saying, well, the reason we're not, we're going to run it back because there's no coaches out there. We didn't go get Bill Belichick. We didn't, go, Mike Vrabel or whoever. But again, a scared man cannot win. You talking about running it back? We ran it back 8 years with Jason Garrett. We ran it 8 years. We ran it back 8 years with Tony Romo. The process is repeating itself once again. And like Shannon Sharp and Jeff Saturday said on what is it? Speak. They said Jerry wants to win, but Jerry wants to win his way. And we can go back knowing that this is the case. We have a owner speaking as a coach. When anything that needs to be spoken should be spoken by the head coach. So we're saying running it back with Mike McCarthy, which we might will do just that, simply because we have a general manager basically do not have a clue of what winning means. But what he failed to relate, what our owner Jerry Jones fails to realize is he has to go back to the time that we were relevant. And it wasn't the time when Dak went 14-3 or whatever the crap that was. That's not relevant. The relevant time was when we won Super Bowls. Now we have to ask ourselves, how did we win these Super Bowls? How were we able to win Super Bowls? This is a no-brainer. This is not rocket science. Okay? This is not rocket science. We're saying, oh, that was so long ago. I don't care. This is when we were relevant. We were relevant when we had certain people in place and we had certain things that to happen in order to win the Super Bowls. Now, again, like I said, I titled this video Building a Championship Team. Because we have lost our way. We have forgotten what got us the Super Bowls that we witnessed. Let me say it like that. Now, a lot of us that are fans today didn't have the opportunity to witness what a Super Bowl looks like. But I say again, I'm from the old school. I witnessed it. Jerry Jones witnessed it. Stephen Jones witnessed it. But sometimes it's things that you don't want to bring up from your past because your ego will not allow you to bring up the past. The things that worked and that you screwed it up, sometimes you just don't want to bring it out. But here's the deal. Here's where maturity steps in. Maturity steps in when you're able to accept your wrongdoings and write your wrongdoings, okay? This is how you go about it. So let's not forget what got us the trophies and the hardware that we got in times past. But again, maturity comes from being able to accept your wrongdoings and writing those things. I'm gonna try to state this, but Einstein said, you know what insanity is to continue to do the same thing and expect different results. We are an insane organization because we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. I'm just at the point, man. I'm tired. I'm tired that we got this owner, and we got Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy in the locker room hugging like they're doing. We're playing for absolutely nothing, and we're all excited. We won a game. We beat a team that's hell probably fell to the bottom of their division now. That's nothing. That's nothing. But we're walking around and we parading like, oh man, we won another game. I would be pissed. It's nothing to celebrate because you know what? Me as a coach, there shouldn't be enough celebrating. You was hired to do a job, and I expect you to beat these teams that's under 500. Oh, we're not going to quit. We're going to keep playing for each other. But let me say this here, and then we're going to get into some of this. What I went and did some research and study on our former coach Jimmy Johnson. But let me say this here: you were hired to do a job, and that job is to continue to play hard that you may keep a job. Now people say, "Oh yeah, well they're playing for one another. They're playing, yeah, they playing hard for one another." You know why they playing for one another? You have 33 players that are going to be coming free agents. Let's get into the nitty gritty of what's really going on with this organization. See, people that's reporting the mainstream media, they don't see what I see. You got 33 individuals that is becoming a free agent at the end of the season. You think they finna try to take? You think they finna just lay down and say, I'm done? Oh no, because guess what? It's not guaranteed they're going to be back with the Cowboys. So of course, what you see right now in these last 3 and 4 games that you've seen is because they're playing for a job. It's not rocket science, people. It's not, it's not, no, it's not that hard. But these players are playing because they know that it's a possibility they will not be with the Cowboys again. We got $27 million in dead money that we have to pay. These are individuals that no longer play with the Cowboy. And I keep repeating because I want to, it's like a mud pie. I want to smear it in Jerry Jones' them face simply because they created this mess. And that's what I call it, a mud pie, but you know what it is. Rub it in his face. Smell it. Smell it. But not only that, you know what else, guys? I mean, I probably heard it before, but I'm going to repeat it again. We have $87 million sitting on the bench. $87 million that's on injury reserve. And we got 33 free agents. Somebody make this make sense. Somebody make this make sense because we're in a debacle. We're finna have a garage sale. This is what's finna happen. There's a garage sale on the horizon because we can't keep everything and everything, in order to gain money, you got to sell some things. This is how flea markets work. This is how garage sales work. When you don't need it no more, you can't afford it. Sometimes you put a for sale sign on it. And this is what we're about to see. So it's not about these guys are playing for each other. Yeah, they playing for each other because they know, man, we got to play. So, what is his name? The cornerback. I was going to say his name, but we're with Ronye, Orianye, whatever his name is. Yeah, I forget his name. Yeah, he might be a free agent. I just threw his name out there, but there's several players that are going to be free agents this year. So I got to play my butt off. So it might be a highlight tape that I can show, or I can have my stats to at a no, I'm not gonna say a percentage, but at a place where when another team sees my stats and my profile, oh yeah, we can use him. These players are playing for a job, and if it's not with the Cowboys, they're selling themselves. They're putting themselves on the market. So we have a debacle. We have we got an situation going on right here. And these are just some notes that I take down when I was just going back to Jimmy Johnson era with the Dallas Cowboys and how this championship team was built. Okay. And after watching and researching Jimmy Johnson, these are just the notes that I wrote down. Training camp. Listen what I'm saying now. Training camp under Jimmy Johnson was always a grind. Bill Bates stated himself. He stated himself. He said training camp was never no fun. Training camp was never fun under Jimmy Johnson. Training camp. How many of us been to the training camp today? I know what you guys gonna say. Oh, well, they got stipulations, things they can do, and certain things they can do, can do. That's true. But let me tell you what Jimmy Johnson said. Um, he said Jimmy Johnson says he treated the team as winners and as a championship team. This is what Jimmy Johnson. This is how I treated them because my expectation. I treated them like winners. Well, with Mike McCarthy, there's no accountability. Accountability. And let me say this before I forget. And when I was talking about bringing in another coach, and we talked about Bill Belichick was gone, and we said that there's nobody. There's somebody out there, somebody that's pretty close to Jimmy Johnson. We're looking everywhere around the world, and we're looking around the corners, looking in the closet, and looking all around in other places. But the coach is right up under your nose, Mike Zimmer. Oh, well, you don't know about stupid. Look at Mike Zimmer's defense. Mike Zimmer had the most injuries than the offense. We're talking about Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys injury. No, we're talking about Mike Zimmer coming in one season to a bunch of players that does not even fit his type of defensive scheme. Mozzie didn't fit. Mozzie didn't fit. Osa didn't fit. These guys didn't fit his type of scheme. These guys were pass rushers. I'm sorry. Mike Zimmer need run stoppers. Mike Zimmer had to teach on the go. I've seen somebody post a video talking about Legion of Boom. No, this is not the Legion of Boom. This is nothing like the Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom belongs to Seattle, and we're not part of Seattle. This has nothing to do with Seattle to Legion of Boom defense because they ran a zone defense. Mike Zimmer runs a man. Mike Zimmer defense gives you the telltale signs of who can play football and who can't. Okay? And we're looking for a coach. Oh, no, no. Well, can't go. Joe Ben Johnson. Well, true enough. We're talking about Bill Belichick. The man is right up under your nose. But Mike Zimmer said something that really caught my eye, and something I heard. He said they asked him about Mike McCarthy, and he said some things about how detailed he is as far as on schedule and things like that. But Mike Zimmer said, yeah, but there were some things I would do different. Everybody want to listen to Jerry Jones, but listen to what Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer is a no nonsense guy. Short on words. He's not going to sit up there and just get up there and do a whole bunch of bumping his gums. Get a chance, listen to Mike Zimmer's interviews. No nonsense type guy. But I talk about Mike Zimmer because guess what? Mike Zimmer holds his players accountable. He holds every one of his players accountable, but he also makes adjustments. It's not what the offense is doing for our wins. It's about our special team, Brandon Aubrey, kicking 58-yard field goals, and our defense keeping our opponent out of the end zone. So while we're looking for a coach, the coach is right there. The coach is right there. But I understand Mike Zimmer's going to talk highly of Mike McCarthy to a certain extent because he's a part of the organization. And if the next coach might come in, might not keep Mike Zimmer. So I see why. But while we're looking all around four corners of the earth for a coach, the coach is right there in the same room that the head coach is in. So back to building a championship team and us going back and researching Jimmy Johnson. One thing, and like I said, Bill Bass stated that, let me say that again. Training camp under Jimmy Johnson was no fun. That means there was some hard work. Jimmy Johnson said himself, he said, man, there was a bunch of old guys that was on this team. And he said that they were slow. Looking at Ed Too Tall Jones, Randy Wright, Danny White. He said, man, what he done got himself into? So what he had to do, he had to separate the two. And what did he do? He intensified the practice, the training camps. And he said he said, oh my God, it was so bad trying to watch Ed Too Tall Jones doing bear crawls, and watching Randy White trying to go through these routines because they were all old. Jimmy Johnson said, well, where does all the players practice at? Where they train at? Oh, well, and where they had it set up. He said, well, they train on their own, and I'll just call them and see how they do. And right then, Jimmy Johnson said he had to change that. And this is how he was able to weed and seed those that was going to be a part of his team and who those that wasn't going to be. So he also said this is something that Jimmy Johnson would always say through his training camps or while he was coaching these players. He said, let the mind control the body, not the body to control the mind. Come on. How many of our players right now that you see in these training camps that we've attended and watched is at a point where they have to allow their mind to control the body? They don't. And we wonder why we're pulling up. We're hamstrings and calf strains and all this stuff. Because we have a piss poor training camp. A piss poor training camp. And if we can't do things like we used to do back in the 90s, it's still up to the player themselves. It was also told that Jimmy Johnson said Jimmy Johnson's attitude was not well, I mean, how can his attitude was not to allow the players to become complacent. I'm giving you the blueprint on how we go back into building a championship team. Sometimes you got to go back to the archives and pull off that old playbook, dust it off. And you use what you can use and you put those things that you can't use, put them aside. But again, it's not rocket science, folks. His attitude was not to allow the players to become complacent. Not allow the players to think that they're at a country club. Emmitt Smith said something. Emmitt Smith says something here, and this was the words of Emmitt Smith. Understanding your players and putting your players in position to make the plays. That's what Jimmy Johnson did. Understood his players, and he put his players in position to make plays. What is our offense doing right now? And y'all want to run this back? Y'all want to take the chance? Well, who else is out there? If you're a gambling man and you've been to the casinos and you on that crap table, even if you're at the gambling shack, baby, when you pick up those dice, all you can do is hope and pray that you roll a 7-11 or roll your point. Huh? That's what gambling is about. But I always say a scared man can't win, and closed mouth doesn't get fed. See, our problem is right now, Dak, Prescott, Mike McCarthy, all these guys scared to say anything to Jerry Jones. Dak, you're $240 million. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. What are you going to do to you? But you're a nice guy. Offensive coordinator and a head coach, he's a nice guy. There's nobody on this team that's going to get in their face outside of Mike Zimmer. That's going to get in their face and hold them accountable. And you wonder why offense is struggling. Treating the team as winners and as a championship team. This is what Jimmy said. Now, again, I'm doing something so people can understand that didn't have an opportunity to witness Jimmy Johnson and his days with the Cowboys. Now, he had a ingredient that he wrote on a blackboard. It was PA plus E equals P. Now, I want you to hear what he had to say on this, okay? I hope y'all can hear this. I really do hope y'all can hear this. Let's hear what Jimmy Johnson had to say, what PA plus E equals P is.
One of your first effort with the Cowboys on the blackboard was written by one Jimmy Johnson, PA plus E equals P.
This is simple for everybody. You have so much God-given talent, and you really can't control that. You can control your effort and your attitude. Now, positive attitude plus effort equals your performance. You know, if you control your attitude and you control your effort, your performance is going to go up. So, you know, guys are so big and so fast and so talented. You know, I can't control that. But I can control your attitude and your effort. And if we improve those two things, and any individual in your job, I mean, we all get in ruts. We all get in such habits. And plus, human nature is, you know, we all get comfortable with the way we've got money in our pocket and things are going good. You know, every now and then we need to pull back just a little bit and say, how can I get better? And how I can get better is the two things that you can control. You can control your attitude, you plant that positive seed in your mind, and you work harder. It's amazing. People say, well, I put in my 8 hours. You know what? During those 8 hours, you know how many other people are working? It's pretty competitive. But you work that 9th hour and that 10th hour and that 11th hour, there's not a lot of competition. You work a little longer and all of a sudden the competition falls out. You know, hard work overcomes a lot of things. Now, it comes with a price. I mean, my hard work, I spent night and day. I live 2 blocks from the Dallas Cowboy complex. And I was over there 24 hours a day almost.
Give it up for Jimmy Johnson. See, Because if you really want to win, these are the things you have to do. You got to go back to those things that got you where you were once before, and it's okay to do that. But the key thing he said, hard work. He said it's a price that comes with it. It's called hard work. Now, he also said overcoming human nature. You have to overcome human nature. He says everyone involved. No, okay, this is what he was talking about. I wrote this down. So we got to go back to what PA plus E equals P is. It says uh proper attitude. Did I say that? No, no. I'm going to get this right because I did write this down, but he did. Oh, here positive. I'm sorry, I got to say it right. Positive attitude plus effort equals your performance. Controlling your attitude and controlling your effort raises your performance. I sure hope this video gets back to the ones that needs to hear this most. And being better than okay, I wrote this down. Overcoming human nature. Everyone involved that are aware of the problem being better than you were before. So that's the definition. Overcoming human nature means everyone involved that are aware of the problem being better than you were before. So you need everybody to not stay into the human nature. I got all this money, I'm good. And we see that right now. Yeah, we see these players go into training camp. None of them in the weight room. They're out there doing field conditioning. They're not in the weight room. Are they really doing the things that's needed to be to consider to be considered as hard work? Hmm? So going back to that, positive attitude plus effort equals a higher performance. Controlling your attitude, controlling your effort raises your performance. Now, when we go into this 90s Cowboys dynasty, we know that Jimmy Johnson was coined for the phrase of how about them Cowboys? Now, a little bit about Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was always an early bird. And he mentioned something about being early is important to him. He mentioned the time that he left Michael Irving in Dallas because he was late. He left Dexter Manley in Stillwater because he was late. Says Jimmy did things in a timely manner. So time meant everything to Jimmy. And also I wrote this down. He was taught by his father that hard work equals success. And one more thing. When Jimmy talked about hiring coaches, this is what he said about hiring coaches. He said it's on hiring coaches, it's about a coach that works hard. Has passion and is smart. This is what that's not a lot, but it's those three things: hard work, passion, and has to be smart. And hard work trumps over everything that he said out of those three things. So while we sitting here wondering, well, why shouldn't we running back? Ain't nobody out there running back. Well, like Shannon Sharp said, yeah, you can run him back. We talk about the injuries. Well, all the injuries, they would have been a lot better. Well, wait a minute. What about before Dak went out? We were losing. Baltimore beat the brakes off of us. Remember that? Before Dak went down, Oh, well, the defense was. Yeah, the defense was there. But look where the defense is today. We're praising these last 4 games and using that as a reason to run it back versus analyzing the first 10 games, 11 games. We don't want to analyze the first 11 games, but we want to praise the last 4 games, 5 games that we done had. And everybody in the locker room, because we win, we over there, oh, yeah. No, man, I'm pissed. We didn't make the postseason. Look here, man. I'm only here so I don't get fined. I'm here to do a job. Y'all jumping up and down and carrying on. Like, man, we won another game. You didn't beat nobody. You know the reason they didn't give up? Because they, again, like I said, they're playing for a job. They're playing for a job. So miss me with all that running it back, and you know, we don't have no choice. Yeah, you have plenty of choices. Again, like I say, if you're a gambler, you'll let the dice roll. Take your chances. The different from the big dogs and the puppies. Puppy stays on the porch while the big dogs go out and handle business. So at the end of the day, and at the end of the season, or the start of next season, we'll see exactly what we are. $240 million quarterback when he open his mouth and tell the owner what he wants and what we need. Oh yeah, with that. Well, oh yeah, Mike McCarthy. I really think highly of him, and I think things need to be more on his terms. Mike McCarthy said, "Well, I don't know what Dak talking about. I got more say so now than I did with Green Bay." I guess we can stop blaming Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, Mike McCarthy, because you don't know what the hell you doing. You don't have a clue. That's why Aaron Rodgers was drawing plays up in the sand. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay took a chance. They took a chance. They got rid of Mike McCarthy. They got rid of Aaron Jones. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, there's your blueprint, Cowboy fans. Scared man can't win. Ooh, let's run it back. Ooh, let's run it back. Why not? Mike McCarthy, what have you done for me lately? A few regular season wins, divisional wins, one post game and done. Like it says at the bottom, mediocre at its best. We're not trying to win. We're just trying to survive. All right, y'all. That's my time, man. I just gave you the blueprint on how to build a championship team, because evidently we have forgotten. We have the 82-year-old man that totally won't even remember. He don't even want to go back to what got him where he once was. But again, guys, we'll see. But thank y'all, man, for taking our time and sitting in with me tonight. Again, I know it's usually we're doing a live, but again, I know everybody's with their families tonight and doing their own thing. But I had an opportunity to come on here, so I had to give you some content. But I wasn't going to get into all this, reading these articles and saying this. We're just going to do some straight up talking about our Dallas Cowboys, because it's obvious that we don't really know what we want to do. We got a lot going on. And I think everything has hit a head. And the head is about to pop. Let's see how Jerry get out of this, Mr. General Manager himself. Let's see how he get out of this. But don't be surprised. We run it back. Because all the stipulations and all the strings that are attached. So, people, if y'all can, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video. And if you think this video is irrelevant, just put a 0 down there so I can come up with better content. Because one thing I don't want to do is bore you. But I think I do better when I just speak my mind. But I would like to hear your comments and your thoughts about this Cowboy team. And with that being said, what are we going to do with the first pick? How would y'all do? What would y'all do on your first pick in the draft? Again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you will be notified when the next video is posted as well. Again, everybody, I appreciate you. Again, I always say, without you guys, we would not be where we are today. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, like I say, Merry Christmas from the Cowboy Huddle podcast. Deuces.